Welcome to the Frustration to Freedom podcast, helping advisors and insurance producers grow their practice. My name is Mike Bemis, Senior Advisor Development Consultant at Simplicity Minneapolis. I got my co-host here and partner in crime, Jeremy Karja, also Senior Advisor Development Consultant at Simplicity Minneapolis. Jeremy, we're going to have a fun topic today. I always love talking about this. We're going to talk about buying signs. I think there's times where producers need to recognize, hey, we're getting some buying signs here. This is a positive thing. Right. And it's a good way to read to say, hey, how is this second appointment going to go if we have some buying signs? So maybe dive into a little bit more, Jeremy. Tell me a little bit about why buying signs are important.
Yeah, basically you're not there yet, right? You haven't earned the trust probably, or you haven't created enough urgency, or they don't see it if you're not getting some of these buying signs. So you need to either time out on that meeting. Hey, let's restart. Let's figure out what's going on, why I'm not getting any buying signs from you. You don't say those words, but
yes.
You need to redo it, or you need to disqualify them and move on. One of the two, if you don't have at least some of these buying signs, which all the veterans will know what we're talking about as soon as we dive in, right, Mike?
Absolutely. So I gotta do a side tangent here. So it's okay to let people go and
It is actually
not make them a client.
The biggest, best producers know the art of disqualifying best.
Okay, that could be a podcast, disqualifying.
That's a future one for sure.
That's a future one. So fantastic. So maybe what are some of the buying signs that come to mind, Jeremy? What are maybe the first couple?
I mean, yeah, the first and some of the most obvious ones is if they come in on the first meeting and they come bearing gifts, right? They have all their statements, tax documents, a fully filled out data form. That means they are concerned about their retirement. Or one, why would they come in and see you? And two, why would they come bearing so many gifts saying basically, help me, Mike, help me with all this mess that I created. Yeah. So that's to me one of the biggest ones, Mike. What do you see as another big buying sign in that first?
I mean, I think another big one, is if they're willing to fire their competing broker. If they have a broker, they're willing to fire. You get that commitment when you ask them, hey, if I design a plan for you and you love it, it's a 10 out of 10. Would you be open to moving some of your money to achieve your goals? We've said that a bunch of times on the podcast, right? And if they say yes, that's a buying sign, right?
That's a buying sign.
That's a buying sign. Right. And so I think that's a good one.
And if they love that broker and that broker has most of their money, you better get a yes, or that sale is essentially dead. So you have to push hard for that one. And if they're willing to go back to that broker in that situation, that's a good buying sign for sure.
It's a good buying sign. It's a good buying sign. That's for sure. Another one, I would say, how receptive are they to the questions that you're asking them, right? In the appointment, are they engaging? Are they answering your questions, right? Are they involved in the conversation? That's a fantastic buying sign, right? In the first appointment.
Yeah. Also, Mike, I'd say in the second meeting, if you're getting those micro yeses, kind of along those same lines, if they are like agreeing as you walk through the agenda, the way we teach you and the way we train you, and you're going through it and you say, okay, so you need roughly this amount of income to pay your bills. You'd like to be at this amount of income. Yes. Yes. This is some of your retirement goals. You'd like to retire at this point. Yes. Yes. If you're getting a lot of those micro yeses versus, yeah, probably, I don't know. Yeah, maybe, and if you're getting some of the crossed arms, maybes, you might have some more work to do and some more trust to build before you move on in that meeting, right, Mike?
100%. I mean, exactly. If you're not getting any, conversation, you might just have to kind of cordially call them out. Right. And stop the meeting and ultimately say, hey guys, when I work with clients, I really like to find out how I can help them. And I need to be honest with you. I'm having a tough time finding out how I can help you. So I might ask the question, like, I need to be honest with you. I need to find out, why are you here?
Yeah.
Why are you in my office today if they're not answering your questions?
Yeah, right? Mike, and I've had some advisors, they'll actually close the books and be like, hey, listen, we got to do a full timeout. And it's that awkward moment, but you do exactly what you said, Mike, where you say, hey, why are you here? I feel like you're looking at me as if I'm trying to sell you something. I'm not trying to sell you anything, right? I think you have me confused with some other people. So help me understand, where is that coming from? And I've had advisors do that and have that conversation when they come across prospects like that, and they go on to close $1 million ticket after that. Yeah. So it's very common.
And it could be just their past experience. It could be they had a bad experience with another advisor. You might say,
Yep.
have you had a bad experience with another advisor before?
Hmm.
Have you worked with anybody in the past and I think just getting them to open up is the biggest thing. And
Yeah.
sometimes you might have to say, the reason why I'm asking these questions is because here's my process. Boom, I pull
Yeah.
up the income for life report, right? I'm here to help you take all the assets that you have to turn them into the retirement that you want. That's what I do. So if that's what you're looking for, I'd love for you to go through my process. And in the end, here's what you're going to get. Right. So
Yeah.
sometimes, again, it's another way for maybe some people have that wall up that Mike's just going to sell me something. Right.
Yep.
I got to break down that wall. Right. I got to get that trust.
Yep.
100%.
Yes, for sure.
Okay. Any other buying signs that you think you can have out there?
Yeah, I would say, of course, one of the most obvious ones is make sure the spouse is there, right? If the spouse isn't there, that's a opposite of a buying sign, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So you got to make sure the spouse is there. You also want to make sure if they have any other, ones they trust that you uncovered maybe in the first meeting, like I'm a senior citizen in my mind. I'm 77 years old and I run everything by my daughter. She's kind of the head of my estate. Well, you want that daughter in that meeting, right? You
Yep.
want that person there. So if they're bringing that person in, that's a good buying sign too.
Percent. I'd say
What
that
else do you got?
another one is they have questions in the second
Yeah.
appointment.
Yes.
A lot of times, questions are a good thing, even if they're hard questions,
Yeah.
right? That means that they're interested. That means that they want to know more. If you
Yeah.
get those things that I did some research, here's what I found online, and you have to go, dig deep into it. It's not a bad thing. I just need to help educate them, right?
Yeah.
And so questions in the second or the third are buying signs. That's a
Yeah.
good thing, right?
Yeah, and ideally with those questions, you want to get those out of the way at the beginning of the second meeting when you're going through the agenda. And so you make sure to ask them, hey, before we get started, what questions do you have for me? And then again, after the agenda, does all that make sense? Do you like all that? Is that exactly what we were talking about, what we spoke about in the first meeting? What questions do you have? Help me understand this piece or that piece. Just try to get them talking,
Yeah.
basically, because you don't want all the questions to come up when you're trying to close it at the end of the second meeting. But sometimes that happens. And if it does, it just, you have to know you're probably going to not close on that meeting. You're going to end up closing on the third meeting. But
Yep.
yeah, questions are a big one.
Percent. I think some of the great lines to use is explain that more. Why do you
Yeah.
feel that way? Can you tell me about the experience you've had of why you feel that way, right?
Yeah.
And so get them to indulge more, and you're going to develop a better connection with them.
Yeah. Open-ended questions. Just keep asking open-ended. And one of the best, easiest ones is tell me more about that. Tell me more about your experience with that.
Yep. And then after that, you have to be quiet
Yeah.
and listen, right? He who talks least closes more sales.
Yes. Yes.
Should
Sell
I
or
say
be
that
sold.
again? Should I say that again, Jeremy? He who
Yes.
talks least closes more sales.
It's that book by Grant Cardone called Sell or Be Sold. You're being sold, or you're selling, one of the two. And if the other person is not doing any talking, that means you're trying to sell, and they're probably going to be resistant. So one of the other buying signs I would say is the other person talking? Is the couple talking a lot, or are you doing all the talking? So kind of along that same vein.
Yeah. So did they bring their stuff? Are they answering questions? Are they talking with you? Right? Do they have questions? Right?
Mhm.
Are we getting micro commitments? Yes. As we go through the agenda, yes, that's exactly what I want. Right? Which means you are conveying your active listening from the first appointment, right? Did we fire the competing broker? Are they open to moving some of the money, right? All those are active buying signs.
Yes.
So look for the buying signs.
Look for the buying signs. This is a quick, hard-hitting one, but powerful, Mike. They might have to listen to this one once or twice.
They might have to listen to once or twice. So if you want to role play some of these buying signs, if you want to role play fire the competing broker, if you want to role play appointments and get sharper at your skills, that's what Jeremy and I do all the time. And we absolutely love it. And so if you're looking to double, triple, quadruple your business, or do the same amount of business in half the time, book a time with Jeremy and I. Come join Team Elevate. We will help grow your practice. That's what we love to do.
Yep. Book a call.
Awesome.
Let's talk.
Let's go.
There we go.